Right, Martin? How to organize a speech. Please welcome Martin to educate you guys.
In 1863, President Abraham Lincoln delivered the Gettysburg Address. This speech has been considered to be one of the most significant speeches in American history. It's 227 words, 10 sentences, approximately 2.5 minutes. Have a think about that. It's been said that it was a pivotal reiteration of the principles of human equality. Lincoln redefined the Civil War as a struggle not just for the Union, but also for the principle of human equality. 227 words. To give a better speech, you need to focus on your message. All the supporting material that you have in your speech needs to support that message. If it doesn't, cut it out. Everybody here who has given their icebreaker speech, you have 4 to 6 minutes to talk about yourself. How hard was that to keep to 6 minutes? Who can distill your life into 6 minutes? But we all managed to do it. And most of us went over time. Time limits are important when you're speaking because everybody has their time on stage. And then there's somebody else that we're sharing our resource. At Toastmasters, speaking is all about you. It's about you learning, you growing, you developing, getting feedback, becoming a better speaker. But out there in the real world, when you apply those skills, it's not about you. You're not there to strut your stuff on stage. You're not there to show people what a great speaker you are. It's not about you anymore, it's about the audience. Why should they listen to you? What have you got for them? What's in it for them? And that's where you must focus on your message. Clarity, clarity, clarity. If what you're saying doesn't add to your message, then cut it out. I don't know how you prepare your speeches. Some of us may have a concept and we develop a few main points that we understand and we just speak off the cuff. I admire people who can do that. Others may write down some bullet points, some main notes and use them. I admire people who can do that. What I do is I do a brain dump through my fingers, through the keyboard, onto the computer. Blah. And then I fine-tune it. I take this out, I change the wording, I rearrange this, I look at it, and then I think, does that sentence there, does that passage there, does that phrase add to my message? And if you don't know what your message is, start again. You should be able to write down your message in 10 words or less. Why are you here? What's in it for the audience? What do you want the audience to think, feel, or do differently after hearing your speech? Once you know your message, everything else supports the message. If it doesn't, you cut it out. Think of the logical structure of your speech. Does point A lead into point B, lead into point C? Do they all support each other? Is the opening going to grab the audience's attention? Is the closing going to give them something to take home? Do they circle back? Do they have congruence? This is what good speech makers do. Now, When I write a speech, I speak about 100 words a minute. So for me, a 7-minute speech, 650 words, absolute max. Because you've got to allow for pauses. And if you use humour, you have to allow the audience to laugh. So include those pauses as part of your preparation. You might speak quicker, you might speak slower, but you should know how many words a minute and then cut it to that. Sometimes if you practice, and you should practice so you don't need notes like me, you'll find there's places where you get stuck and you can't think of what the next point is. And there's reasons for that. Maybe that point isn't relevant. Maybe it shouldn't be there. If you can't remember it, how important is it? Or maybe you just haven't worked out a logical linkage. Where does this lead you into that? Why should that be the next point? And work on that linkage. And sometimes there's just no real reason. So try to think of a visual cue or an audible cue that leads you into the next passage. I was talking at one stage of being scared of taking the next step, and then my next point was about scientists believing in multiple universes, and in one universe somebody took that step. And I couldn't get that linkage. So I invented this picture in my mind, you know, Salmia in our club. I imagined Salmia being really scary in a white lab coat. And that was my visual clue. And if I knew if I got stuck at that point in the speech, I just had to look at Salmia and I'd see a scary Salmia in a white lab coat, and I'd go from scary to scientists. And that cue worked for me. So keep it simple, keep it succinct. Be ruthless, take out what doesn't fit. Remember, Abraham Lincoln, with his 10-sentence, 227-word speech, is one of the most influential in history. Will your next speech be influential, persuasive, focusing on the message, being present for the audience? You can make a difference. So don't let the art of better speaking become arcane.
Thank you very much, Martin, that you present that presentation, because most